Okay, now let's have I was just looking for Natalia. I thought we heard about Sam. Oh, but I don't hear it.
I went up to her. I went up to her. He doesn't take any questions. I mean, it is. That crazy guy that's always at the. Yeah, with the trouble with that. Yeah. He calls me.
I think he's I think, you know, I don't know how to track these things, but I think he's, you know, like a member of schools. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know whether it's like, there's actually money involved, or like, I think like he kind of.
I think they tell him.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning. Amina. We're getting ready.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Okay, great. Is Rebecca San Juan?
Good morning. Okay, well, thank you everyone for being here. This morning we're gonna hear first from Miami-Dade County Mayor Daniela Levin Cava, followed by Director Michael Liu, Director of Public Housing and Community Services for Miami-Dade County. And after that, we're gonna hear from Jason Smith, Director of Equity and Engagement for the Mayor's Office. He's gonna read a testimony from someone that will benefit from this expansion. After that, Mayor Daniela Levin Cava will close, and we're gonna hear our Creole interpretation. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. For our Miami-Dade County residents to thrive, our residents must be able to afford to live here. And that is why I declared an affordability crisis last April. It allowed us to move quickly. We reached across all of our departments and our cities and into the private sector to create solutions to the rising cost of living. And one of the most successful tools that we've had throughout the pandemic has been the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, or ERAP. ERAP helps renters with issues ranging from past due rent to utility payments, relocation assistance, and increases of rent up to 30% for a period of 3 months. And as of last week, Miami-Dade County's ERAP program has awarded over $139 million in direct assistance to more than 21,200 households in our community who have been able to avoid losing their homes thanks to this life-saving program. Those 21,000 plus families have stayed in their homes this year thanks to the ERAP program. These figures make our ERAP program one of the most successful in the entire nation, one of the top 5. And our distribution of these funds has been so successful that we were able to apply for and receive additional federal funds throughout. So we have continued to apply and get more funding so we could help more of our Miami-Dade County residents and protect more renters. Unfortunately, the price of housing has continued to skyrocket, and we want to be able to help more of our vulnerable residents. And that is why one of the key components of the Homes Plan, which was adopted with this year's budget, is expanding the ERAP program. So all of the Homes Plan is about tackling the affordability crisis, and at my request, and with the approval of the County Commission, a full $8 million additionally was put into the fund for ERAP so we could help a greater group of hardworking families. So in addition to the federal guidelines, thanks to these dollars, we are expanding the ERAP program to more of our residents so they can stay in their homes. So the expansion takes us from up to 80% of the area median income, which is the federal standard, to 140% of the area median income, because all of these folks are struggling to make ends meet in this difficult economy with the rising cost of living, and particularly housing. And that is a significant change from the previous federally funded rounds of ERAP. And just to make that very clear, for a single person, income could go all the way up to $96,000. It's actually $95,620. For a couple, it could be $109,200. For a family of 3, $122,920, and for a family of 4, all the way up to $136,500 that will now qualify for rental assistance if they cannot afford to stay in their home and face eviction. So in short, we're going to be able to help more of our struggling residents to take advantage of this lifeline, keep them in their homes, and keep them from moving away from our community where we really want and need them. It also means that more working professionals, such as our teachers, our first responders, our nurses, and other essential workers will get the assistance they need to cover their basic rent, housing costs in this difficult real estate market. And we invite anyone who may qualify, who may be having difficulty paying for their housing, to apply now this holiday season. Of course, we are going to continue to expand our supply. So we have many other programs that will help reduce the demand and make more housing available. But this program is a lifeline for so many right now. And ultimately, this Emergency Rental Assistance Program is about helping our people, helping our residents. And I'll give an example. Carmen Rodriguez is a local tenant here in Miami-Dade. She recently became eligible for assistance in this program. Her son is in the 90% area median income, so above the federal guidelines. But with the new expansion, she and her son are able to benefit from this program. She could not be with us this morning because she had to work, but we will be hearing a statement from her shortly. And I'd like to invite Director Liu of Public Housing and Community Services to share a little bit more about this life-saving program. Pero antes voy a decir algo en español. ¿Ok? Hoy estamos anunciando Hoy estamos anunciando la expansión de nuestro programa de asistencia de alquiler de emergencia o ERAP. ERAP ayuda a los inquilinos a pagar el alquiler atrasado, los servicios públicos o el aumento en el alquiler de hasta el 30% por 3 meses. Hasta la semana pasada, nuestro programa ERAP ha otorgado más de 139 millones en asistencia a más de 21,200 familias que han podido quedarse en sus casas este año. Nuestro programa se encuentra entre los 5 programas más exitosos de la nación. Hace poco la Junta de Comisionados aprobó mi solicitud de dar 8 millones adicionales para este programa en el último presupuesto. Ahora podremos incluir residentes que ganan hasta el 140% del ingreso medio del área. Esto significa que las familias de 3 personas que ganan menos de 122,000 y las familias de 4 integrantes que ganan menos de 136,000 ahora pueden calificar para la asistencia de alquiler. En esta temporada de Navidad, esta expansión permitirá que las más familias con dificultades pueden recibir ayuda, incluyendo algunos de nuestros trabajadores esenciales, como maestros, bomberos, enfermeras y otros. Y ahora vamos a escuchar de palabras del director Michael Liu del departamento. Now, Michael Liu. Thank you.
Well, good morning. This is a great day, a good day to highlight what the mayor has described, to make sure that the county is doing all that it can to address the rental crisis for a very wide swath of income groups across Miami-Dade County. Rightfully so, most of our housing assistance programs target those of low income, whether it's public housing, Section 8, ERAP, until this current expansion, low-income housing tax credits. Most, or all of those programs focus in on those who earn less than 60% of AMI, which means for a single person, no more than $41,000, for a family of 4, $59,000. But now with this expansion, as the mayor has indicated, we can help the very group of families that add so much more to our community. First responders, medical personnel, young attorneys starting out in their careers with the state attorney's office and public defender's office, very important to our law enforcement system, our justice system. So we really need to be thankful for the expansion, a modest expansion, but an important one. And Mayor, thank you very much. I know that our staff is very happy to be able to work with more people and not have to say no, we're sorry, but they can say yes, let's work with you and make this happen, as well as we appreciate the cooperation of landlords who we also work with in making this program work. And now to really get down to what we're all about and what we're helping, I'll turn it over to Jason Smith, our Director of Equity and Social Justice.
Good afternoon. My name is Jason Smith. I am the Director of Equity and Engagement in the Office of County Mayor Daniela Levine Cava. I'm here to read a statement from someone who was positively impacted by the expansion of the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. Her name is Carmen. I know Mayor Levine Cava to be a caring human who is doing so many wonderful things to help each and every one of us in this county and beyond. I was aware of the housing programs that she has created and am so impressed with how she and her staff are making so many good things happen. But I did not think I would be participating as a recipient. I had 3 different part-time jobs prior to the pandemic. I soon lost one and was working very hard to keep the other 2. COVID took many lives and destroyed the economy for so many of us. Devastating. The building that we moved into in September of 2020 had raised our rent from $1,850 to $2,400 1 year later, and $600 more in December 2023. My son, a college student who works full-time, and I share the apartment until he graduates and starts his career. The cost of moving is extremely high. Rents are astronomical everywhere, while salaries remain the same. In July of this year, I was encouraged to apply for rental assistance as I was down to one job. I was absolutely lost during the application process and asked for help from several sources. Then I met by phone a most empathetic, kind, patient, and very professional human, Taisha Santos, who explained the program and the process, alleviating the overwhelming anxiety and fear that I was experiencing. Caseworker Kimberly Robinson was also extremely kind and helpful. Our assistance was approved in late October. This evening, as I prepared to write our story, I asked my son for his input about the program, Taisha and Kimberly. He had one word: life-saving. Jobs are scarce, pay is low, inflation has taken a heavy toll. Thank you, Mayor Levine Cava, and her most wonderful staff for creating and implementing the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. That message is from Carmen.
Will you have the Creole translation now? Leona, thank you.
Bonjour tout le monde. Jeudi, nous avons annoncé l'élargissement programme assistance d'urgence pour loyer noir. Dans le dernier budget, nous avons approuvé $8 millions additionnels pour le programme ça. Et ça veut dire que nous sommes capables de mettre plus de monde là-dedans, y compris les gens qui gagnent 140% dans le revenu médian de zone. Ça veut dire tout que famille qui a touché environ moins passé $122 920 et famille qui gagne 4 personnes qui a touché $136 500 capable de participer dans le programme ça tout et genre que l'autre monde a participé avant. Élargissement programme là a permettre que plus de monde qui gagne dans la famille comme résident ici dans le comté Miami-Dade qui a lutté avec la vie, monde ça est capable de participer dans le programme là, yo capable rester la caillou. Et l'autre monde qui a bénéficié là-dedans tout, c'est travailleurs, tout professionnels que nous gagnons qui sont travailleurs essentiels, quand professeurs, pompiers, avec monde qui travaille comme infirmière et l'autre professionnel essentiel tout. Merci en pile.
Okay, so we're just open for any questions.
Alcaldesa, si puede en español recordarnos cuáles son los grupos de personas que pueden aplicar, es cuando se le incrementa hasta el 30% y quiénes más que están behind.
Todas las familias que no pueden pagar la renta por el aumento o falta de sus ingresos pueden aplicar hasta el punto de 140% del ingreso mediano del área. Por ejemplo, para una persona sería 96,000. Para una persona solamente 95,620. Y para dos personas, 109,200. Para tres, 122,920. Y para la familia de cuatro personas, 136,500. Okay.
One question. We need to add also information at the end about how can people apply.
Oh, yes. Y para todos que pueden calificar, queremos que pueden llamar a 311 para información o tenemos un número específicamente para ayuda 305-723-1815. De nuevo, 305-723-1815. 1815. Y también tenemos información en la página red miamidade.gov/homes plan. Okay, so anyone looking for information, they think they may qualify, you may call 311 or a dedicated housing line, 305-723-1815. Again, 305-723-1815. Also on our website, miamidade.gov/homes plan.
Mayor, what's the breakdown of this new expansion when it comes to federal pass-through dollars to, or like money generated from the Miami-Dade County Commission or your administration?
Right. So we still have federal dollars available for those up to 80%, and this would be for the group 80% up to 140. It's $8 million that's been designated at this time, and we're just opening it now. So we know that there are many, many who will benefit and qualify, and so if it continues to be a challenge, we certainly could look at whether there's a way to increase the funding. But for now, $8 million has been allocated.
Mayor, I know that this is on a first-come, first-served basis. Is there a deadline, or is it just kind of rolling until?
Yes, it is a rolling application, and we are very grateful for your help in getting the word out. We want people who are struggling right now to get the assistance. It's not the long-term solution. It is a stopgap measure, but along with that, we are building aggressively more units of affordable and workforce housing. We have 32,000 units in the pipeline right now, and with the rest of the homes program and our building block fund, we will have thousands and thousands more. So we need to increase our supply. We need to help people get over this hump until they could qualify for other units. We'll go to you and then you.
My question is for you and Director Liu, is do you have the numbers of people who have been helped through this program and how much more increase that should come out to?
So you have the number of how many have already been assisted, which is it's 21,200 households and 139 million, but that's mostly the federal dollars. And now we've just opened up this program. Do we have, how many?
We'll see. We think that we'll be oversubscribed.
Come to the microphone, yeah.
We believe that we'll be oversubscribed, that there'll be, unfortunately, more applications that we may be able to help, but that may then be evidence that we can work with the mayor's office and to see what resources may be available as we move forward.
Yeah, and we put a large tranche of money in the overall homes program with many components, all of which designed to help the same population. There was a gentleman in the back, yes.
Good morning, Mayor. Just to recap, what's the biggest difference in the ERAP expansion? Because we've been reporting at the Miami Herald about it since its inception. What is the biggest difference?
Yes. Well, I think everyone would recognize that people who are making up to $136,000 for a family of four, that we consider that our middle class. And yet we know that those people cannot afford to continue to live here with the increased price of rent. And you heard it from Carmen as just one story, but Miami Herald did a very good series called The Tipping Point. 4 Miami-Dade professionals described the housing squeeze. So we know that this is affecting thousands and thousands of people, and our attempt here was to be sure that we could help those who we need to stay in our community and working, part of our workforce as well. Yes?
When it comes to the federal part of the money, was this still from the kind of the COVID relief money? And then any idea on if there's
More.
signals in Washington if there's going to be more to that first pot of money from the federal government?
So we have benefited from other communities not, unfortunately, being as effective as we in implementing the program. So if it wasn't spent by a certain time in other communities, it went back into the pot, and we were able to apply increasingly. So I think we've gotten
At least $33 million additional, and we have a request in for more money, and hopefully we'll get more money based on the inability or maybe the lack of need in other parts of the country.
We've been very successful in getting out the word to the first group of eligible ERAP in partnership with many nonprofit groups, housing advocacy groups. And just to say, now we have our teachers union represented here. Carla Matz is here from United Teachers of Dade. We have also other unions represented here, and we have our interns and residents in the hospitals who can't afford housing. So it's a big, our state attorneys and public defenders, essential parts of our workforce that will be assisted through this program.
Is there anything that can help homeowners, because those landlords are the ones that could potentially stabilize the rent crisis here in this, or are you still working on that portion?
So we have 5 components to the homes program, and it includes a subsidy for landlords who are charging market rate rent to help bring down the cost, and that program will be launched in January. So that is something also we're going to have a number, hopefully thousands of units that will open up at a reduced price. As well, we're building new units continuously. 32,000 in process. We've had continuous ribbon cuttings, a lot of new facilities coming on the market, and our Office of Housing Advocacy is helping people to navigate to find their way to those new units as well. And we also have, as part of homes, a fund for renovation of units that are already affordable, and to keep them affordable, we provide the funds through a grant to do the repairs and the renovation and keep the housing affordable for 30 years.
Si nos puede decir esa parte en español también.
Esta parte. Oh, yeah. Los dueños de las propiedades que están con rentas alquiler más alto al nivel del mercado van a recibir, si quieren, fondos para bajar el precio, y eso va a ayudar miles de personas comenzando en enero. También estamos con un programa para renovar unidades que son tal vez viejos, necesitan reparaciones, y con esto ellos van a dejar a un precio asequible. Y también tenemos un programa para por ejemplo, los de mayor edad que están pagando más en seguro o impuestos, hasta $1,500 cada familia, y vamos a promover agresivamente a ver miles de personas que pueden calificar. So in addition, we have a mortgage assistance program for those on fixed income that will be able to receive up to $1,500 based on increased costs of insurance or maintenance, and we know many, many thousands will benefit from that as well.
Question for Director Liu, maybe. HUD announced that they're going to have more housing choice vouchers. Any idea on how many we'll be getting here in South Florida?
We don't know yet. We're anxiously awaiting, but it's still contingent on what the House and Senate decide on for the coming year on the budget. So we'll see, hopefully, by the end of next week.
Secretary Fudge was here with us a few months ago. She was very impressed with the range of programming, as well our assistance for homeless. So we know that we are doing everything we possibly can. We have a very aggressive and innovative approach, and the idea here is to help the thousands and thousands who are struggling to pay the high cost of housing in our market.
This could help people who can't pay their property taxes as well.
The mortgage assistance would be up to $1,500 to assist with, for example, property tax or any other extra expenses. Landlords raise rents partially because their expenses have gone up, and so in some sense it also helps to mitigate that increase. The program, it's called WIP, Workforce Housing Incentive Program, and that's the one we're rolling out in January to help subsidize market rentals. All right. Yeah.
You said we got about 33,000.
32,000 in process. Actually, the first tranche of 18 or 14,000, that's already.
18,000.
So 18,000 are already under construction. So we expect within the next year to have those. And then the rest of them are in the permitting or financing. And plus, we have more financing. So our Building Blocks Fund has an array of investors who have agreed to overinvest in our market and make sure that any project that could be possible has access to funding, because often it's waiting for funding, right? They have the land, they have a developer, but they need the funding. And also, as part of homes, we have last dollars. So we have projects that had to be stalled because of the high cost of supplies or workforce or supply chain issues. And so with that, we expect that stalled projects will be able to be completed.
And basic question, but you said some of this was reallocated to South Florida because other areas didn't use it. Just basic question, but what do you think, what about South Florida makes the need greater than other parts of the country?
Yes. Well, first of all, to be clear, that's the federal ERAP dollars that we got more, kept getting more because we were able to use up what we were provided initially and then at a second round. And we're on our third round?
We're on our third round now.
We're on our third round and hoping for a fourth round. We are the most expensive housing market in the country by many accounts, for the reason that Carmen said in her letter. We have an escalating cost of housing and salaries not keeping pace. So, an increased demand. Our success in so many moving here and so many businesses locating here is wonderful in many ways, but it has also created increased competition for the limited availability of more affordable housing. So we have to be aggressive. Now, why have we been so successful in getting that money out compared to other places? Well, because we planned early, we brought in community partners, and honestly, because it's a priority for me as mayor.
Can I get clarification? Director Liz said that we're oversubscribed, so 21,000 is the number we've already been helping. How many more people are waiting in line or set?
Speak to that.
Well, I meant that to your question previously about what do we expect on the expansion. We are estimating that we will get more applications than we'll be able to support.
With the additional 8 million.
8 million on that
Because the
point.
8 million is for those above 80% area median income. We cannot use federal dollars
Yeah.
for the people who have that slightly higher income. So we're,
Is there not a number for that? Like, will potentially help?
oh, how many people would potentially apply for that 8 million pot?
It's hard to say.
I mean, if they know about it, I'm sure thousands.
Yeah.
Okay, and for clarification too, you said that private funds are also helping. Is that the nonprofits you mentioned? So federal and then
Well,
private?
two things. Our nonprofit organizations are helping us with the outreach on all of these programs. And we have private investors in the Building Blocks Fund, which is a separate pool that we created in the spring to make sure that any developer with property ready to go could get access to financing. Okay? Well, thank you for being here. Happy holidays, and we hope that we will be able to help many thousands of our residents. Thank you. Thank you, Carla.